Well, hey friends, today we are going to be drawing Brightbill, the baby goose from The Wild Robot.
Hey party people, welcome to Party Create.
Well, hey friends, I'm Tom from Party Create, where we love to help kids like you grow in your art and creativity. Today we are continuing our series drawing characters from the movie The Wild Robot, and we're going to draw Baby Brightbill, the goose, today. So grab a piece of paper, grab some pencils, and let's get started. Baby Brightbill at this point in the movie is a cute little baby goose, and so we are going to draw this character starting with some circles. And so his face is made up of two different circles, a large circle and a small circle, and they overlap to create almost what looks like a pear shape. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start with that first circle. We're going to draw about this big, and I'm going to go really light. Lock your wrists and use your whole arm to make that top circle. And we're going to go really light, really sketchy until we get it just right. And then what we're going to do is we are going to create a second circle. And this second circle is going to be coming just above halfway down from the top circle. And it's going to extend just slightly to the outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to just work on getting that circle the right size. So it's going to look right around this big. It's going to be a little bit wider than the top circle. And this is just a guide. We don't have to get this perfect, but we don't want to go too dark because we're going to want to erase it later. His face kind of gets wider as it goes in the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the edge of the top circle and kind of curl it into the bottom one right here. Same thing on this side. And see, we were making that pear shape. These two circles actually help us get a good understanding of where everything's going to go on this character. Secondly, the bottom of this top circle is going to be right around where the top of the bill of Brightbill's beak. Bill? Is it a bill? It's a beak, right? The top of his beak goes right here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a line straight down the middle. So try to get a straight line from the top to the bottom, really light. And what this is going to do is it's going to help us make sure that the eyes are even. I'm actually going to widen this a little bit more. Again, this is a sketch, so you can go back and change it as much as you want. All right, let's get started on the eyes. Now, the eyes are an egg shape with a straight line down the middle. And the way that we're going to position these eyes is we are going to first start with an eye shape in the middle. Now, obviously, this is not a Cyclops goose, but this is going to help us figure out how, it kind of looks like Mike Wazowski, I'm not going to lie, but this is going to help us figure out how far out the eyes should be from the middle. So once you've got that first eye in the middle, then what you can do is you can copy that shape on the outside. Now on each eye, it's straighter in the middle and then wider on the outside. See how it kind of comes straight down and rounds out at the bottom, but it's more of a curve on the outside? It's gonna be the same thing over here on this eye as well. In the inside of this eye, what we're going to do is we're going to draw in a line straight down, give us a little bit of space in between the eye and this line. As it gets to the top, it's going to get kind of fuzzy. So we're going to give little textured lines right here for the top. It's a mix of kind of a furry, feathery little thing, right? Now what we have is we have the top of his beak, and it's going to come down here, and then this line of the bottom is our original circle right here. This is where the beak is going to start. About halfway across the eye, we're going to have a shape right here that kind of looks like a U, and it's going to come and curl over, and we're going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So you see how we've got kind of a sideways 3, so it's down, up, down, and then the top of the middle is just right smack dab in the middle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a U shape down here for the bottom of Brightbill's mouth. So then what we can do is we can actually draw in here. We've got a little tongue going off to the left. We've got the back of the throat. We'll color all this in really, really dark. But once we have established this, what we can do is we can connect the top of the beak with a curve that wraps around the eye, and then another curve over here. See how this beak goes from a hard beak to soft change over into the feathers at the top. Same thing with over here. We're going to draw just a couple little feathers in a feathery line that goes straight up on either side. This is where the brown meets the white parts of his coat. All right, so let's go to the outsides of the beak. So we've got this side right here. It's gonna follow down and curl underneath. And what we can do is we can come back in with the hairy little lines to show the furriness of the bird. Now I wanna give him a little bit bigger cheeks, right? I wanna have really, really big, cute cheeks. And so I'm gonna extend that just a little bit. And then as we get to the bottom of the face, we can start working on the body. Now the body, we're just gonna do another circle down here. We're gonna be having him sit up. Get that line, we extend that line down so we know the middle of our circle. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw in the feet. We got a triangle shape. And then we've got another triangle shape right here. Now, once we've got these shapes, we can figure out all the details behind them. We've got one finger, or toe. We've got a webbing, we've got a toe, and then we've got a webbing, and then a toe. So one toe, we've got two, three toes, and then we've got it kind of rounded over here in the middle. We've got more feathers down here, and we're just gonna do the exact same thing. And then you can add in just some of the lines that go on the bone from here all the way to the edge of the foot. Okay, so now that we've got this, we can start working on the body and the wings. So I'm just gonna draw a really light guide for myself. And I'm actually going to curl this down. It's up too high. I want him to kind of look like he's slouching a little bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring this down. There we go. Bring it down and out. And then I can add in some texture on the inside. And you're wondering, like, how in the world do I get this texture to look like feathers or like a furry kind of look? It's just that jagged line. If I just repeat that, especially if I have a line that we know that's going to curl like that, if I just repeat that over it, that gives us some texture. And you can go even further in on it and get lighter as you go. Let's go back and add some of the details of the eyes. And the eyes are an egg shape. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna curl it in from the inside here and all the way around. And what it's gonna look like is it's gonna look like he's looking over here, right? But if we copy this on this side, what it'll actually do is it'll look like he's looking at something above him, but also something very, very close. And we wanna make sure that this line is mirroring this line just backwards, right? Now that we've got this, we can work on the front of the bill. We can add a little line here that kind of comes up above to show that there's a little bit of a ridge there. You can kind of shade that in if you'd like. But we want to give him some extra furriness because he's such a young, tiny little goose. The feathers are kind of going crazy, right? All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to give him a little reflection in his eye, and this is gonna make his eyes really come to life. And what we can do is we will go back with this and we're gonna leave this and this completely white. We're not gonna color that in at all. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to take our sketch and we're gonna go over it with a pen. And this is gonna give us our best lines. You can use a Sharpie, you can use a marker, you can use colored pencils, whatever it is that you would like to pick your lines. Now I'm going to be really, really loose on these edges just so that I can maintain that feathery, furry look to Brightbill. Now I'm going to speed this up for the process, but you can follow along at home. We're going to go really light so that we have the opportunity to shift colors to go a little bit darker, a little bit brighter. So we're going to go over the top of his head where the yellow bits are, and on other parts of his coat it actually gets a lot lighter. On his bill or beak, it's also going to be a really yellow orangish color. So we're going to start light with this base and work darker as we get into the shadows. So to get the shadows, we need to decide where the light is coming from. So we're going to have the light source over here, right above his head, coming down. And so the shadows are all going to be on the right side, hidden from the light over on the left. So what we're gonna do is we're going to bring this yellow a little bit darker on the right side, and we're gonna also introduce some brownish colors into this yellow. And then I'm gonna do the right side of his bill like this. Underneath his bill, I'm going to add in that line that we had earlier, and I'm gonna color that in pretty dark right there. This is the shadow underneath his bill. Is it bill? Is it beak? I guess we'll never know. The key is starting light so you can get darker and darker and darker. I'm gonna come back over here. See, as this bill transitions into being more feathers, it does get darker at the top. Now it's the same sort of shade down here on his feet, so we're just gonna color this in real quick. But we see an opportunity to go even darker here, right over his eye, and so I'm gonna darken that in. And I'm gonna go and get my brown, my dark brown out, and I'm actually gonna start working where the transition is at the top of his bill. And the bill itself is more of, I guess it's cartilage, it's more bone than it is a feathery bit, and so it's kind of got a little bit of a shine to it. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back with a brighter yellow, and we're gonna mix in the edge right here so that we can get more of a bright colored reflection of the light right here. Now we wanna show some highlight over here where the light is really hitting. You're probably wondering, what should we do for the white part of his coat to make it darker? Now you can use all sorts of different colors, and there's all sorts of, you can use blues or greens to tone it down. So I'm gonna use a color that I like called Terra Verde. It's kind of a tealish, bluish, toned down color. I'm gonna start lightly going over the sides of the white that are covered in shadow. As we were talking about earlier, if we're gonna go in lightly, we wanna make sure that we are following the direction of the feathers, right? So I'm just gonna follow this the whole way around. It will take a little while to do it like this, but it will make your character look more round. It adds a lot of depth and form to the character that you can't really get just from inking the outlines. And don't be afraid to blend. You can use lots and lots of different colors together to create a transition from one color to the next, to add in some visual interest, to make it look not so one-dimensional when it comes to colors. You want to add lots of colors, right? Little bits of reds, little bits of greens and blues that kind of blend in together. Now the more you do that, the more life your picture will have, but also the longer it takes, right? Because we want to make sure that we're blending it. It takes time to blend these colors in. Let's add in the color for his eyes. So his eyes are bright green. So I'm going to come in here and try to get as bright a green as I can. And then this eye is going to be darker than this eye, and so we're going to start working on bringing the light of this green down just a little bit with a darker shade of green. We're going to get really dark on the inside edge. I'm really going to go deep green on the inside and then let it fade as we go around the outside. We're going to drop it down a little bit here with that dark green and then let it fade. Let's do the mouth real quick. I'm going to add in a couple different colors. We've got a red, we've got a purple, and then we can get kind of squiggly because we're using the texture of the feathers, and so it doesn't need to be completely exact. We can just kind of scribble through in the shape and the direction that these feathers are going. And then we got darkness over here as well that we can get a little bit darker. We just want to keep working this and working this and working this and getting it darker and darker. We don't want to have to worry about going too far too early. That's why we kind of slowly work it and work it and work it until we get to the color that we want. So if we were to start with a really dark color right away, then we'd be kind of stuck if we thought it was too dark. Paint pen is a really great way to add in some highlights. So I'm going to go over the white spots with my paint pen just to bring them out a little bit more. And there you go, Brightbill, the baby goose. Well, hey, I had a ton of fun drawing Brightbill with you guys today. Make sure you hit like and subscribe to continue catching Party Create videos in the future. Until next time, we'll see you later.